Rosh Chodesh Elul has arrived. Elul carries special significance as the month which begins our journey towards the Yamim Noraim. It invites us to open a 40-day personal spiritual accounting. 40 days to reflect, refocus, and reset. We reflect on where we've been over the last year and where we are now, how we've grown and the challenges we've faced, and how we've been true to ourselves and how we may have missed the mark. Usually, as summer comes to an end and right around the start of the month of Elul, I like to get into nature, to go on a hike, to see some new scenery. Being enveloped in nature helps me facilitate that physical and mental reset. One year, I took a drive with a friend up to New England. This trip was a most welcome escape from summer in the hot, bustling city. We drove along long stretches of highway, the sky stretching out wider and wider above us, until the buildings dotting the horizon were slowly replaced by expanses of blue sky, green fields, and then towering mountains. One day, my friend and I were walking a path through a forest. This wasn't one of the more spectacular hikes, just a perfectly lovely path, some wooden bridges laid out over streams, maybe a small waterfall or two. As we were walking, my friend asked if there were any major sights to see, and if so, how long would it be till we got there? I've definitely had those thoughts on a hike before, so I could identify with the desire to reach the viewpoint already, to see what we were supposed to see, to get where we were supposed to go already. But that time, I had my Elul glasses on. I was having a different experience, which my friend's comment brought to light. This trip had allowed me to show up on the trail and just be. I didn't need to get somewhere. My time was my own, and the path I walked and the pace I went were my choices to make. Embracing this feeling of presence was really liberating. There were moments when each tree felt like a revelation, each with its own pattern of branches winding to the sky and roots crawling into the ground. Moments when this rock, or this earth, this moment, were all that occupied my consciousness. In response to my friend's comment, my mind echoed with a line that I heard from a teacher one Elul, that I now carry with me into each season of repentance. Lo hatotza'a el hatznua. It's not about the outcome, but about the internal movement. It was a moment which brought me some clarity about the teshuva process, which we are now undertaking. The work of introspection is not limited, of course, to these 40 days. Living a well-examined life is a project for all of the years that we're blessed to have on this earth. But it's a process with no real endgame. It's not necessarily about getting somewhere or achieving a certain outcome, because often the outcome is not within our control. What is in our hands is cultivation of a healthy, compassionate awareness in the present moment. What potential does this place on the path, this moment, hold for me? What's my attitude towards the current moment and what it presents before me? What feelings and thoughts am I cultivating towards my circumstances and the choices I'm making? Parshat Shoftim, which coincides with the first Shabbat in Elul, teaches about the Arei Miklat, the cities of refuge where the accidental murderer flees to be protected from vengeful relatives of a person who is killed. The accidental murderer remains mostly confined to these cities until the death of the Kohen Gadol. Chazal, however, understand that the accidental murderer's time there is not only punishment for the murder which happened, but as an opportunity for their rehabilitation. It's a time for them to study with their Torah teacher, to engage in a process of self-reflection, to feel remorse for the actions they've taken which led to the accidental killing, and envision how their lives might be different going forward. The Arizal, a 16th century mystic, compares the month of Elul to these cities of refuge. Elul is the parallel in time to the physical city of refuge in space, a time to retreat from our rote ways of acting and thinking and allow ourselves to lean into the process of self-reflection, to think about steps we've taken and become aware of the path which led us to where we are now. Like the wandering trail through the forest, there isn't a specific endpoint to reach at the end of the teshuva process when we know we'll have been fixed or that we won't make mistakes again, because of course we will. Elul is rather an invitation to take a step back and breathe, to see the individual moments and choices with more clarity. Elul is an opening. It's an opportunity to bring more consciousness to the present, to be open to this moment and the paths that it presents before us, and to know that we have always had the choice to turn, and we always have the choice to return. The outcome may not be in our hands, but we can choose to be present here and now. And all it takes is this moment to see the openings and opportunities and to be attuned to the movement which has begun within.